Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to be explaining how we can extract sucrose from sugarcane, so the whole process. And I'm going to get right into it because it's very short, it's very concise, you just need to understand the concepts. Now the first thing you need to know is, where do we get sugarcane from? And most of the times we can get sugarcane from, some factories, they have them grown on the grounds. You have, I wouldn't call them plantations, but for example Frume factory, they grow a lot of sugarcane there. Appleton grows sugarcane. There's a lot of sugarcane even on some of the plains that exist in Jamaica, right? And the first thing in our sugar in our sucrose making progress or process is that we need to harvest our sugarcane. And by harvesting, we mean that we're gonna cut down our sugarcane stalks and we're gonna load them and put them on a truck, right? That's the first thing we do, because we have to get the sugarcane from somewhere. So we cut it down and we collect our sugarcane stalks, and that leads us into step 2. After we cut it, we need to shred our sugarcane stalks. We shred them into smaller pieces using what we call rotary blades. These blades right here that rotate, these are rotary blades or rotary knives. That's the purpose of the shredding step. But note that in this step we haven't gotten any juice, so the next thing that we need to do is that we need to crush. We need to crush our sugarcane stalk. So we would have gotten some smaller pieces from here, and we're gonna crush it for this step, right? And when we crush our sugarcane stalks, we essentially get two products. We're gonna be getting what we call the sugarcane juice. We get sugarcane juice, and we get what we call bagasse. The bagasse is really just the trash that we have remaining. So once you dry out or once you take out all of the sugarcane juice, you have trash remaining. That trash is bagasse, and I want you to practice using the word bagasse. Now this bagasse can be burnt and be used to create steam for other steps. So I'm going to include the purpose, the use of the bagasse here, to be burnt and used to make steam for other steps. Right. Okay, so that's our bagasse. We use it, we burn it and use it to make steam for the other steps, right? Now the sugarcane juice is quite acidic, right? Our sugarcane juice is quite acidic. Matter of fact, this sugarcane juice, note that we get it from the earth, just like that. We just got it, we cut it, but did we really and truly purify the sugarcane? No. So it's quite acidic, and it does in fact contain impurities. So the next step that we're going to do focuses on removing the acidity and also removing some of our impurities, right? So that step is what we call clarification. This is step 4, clarification. Now in clarification, we add what we call slaked lime. It's not the same thing as lime juice. No, it's very different. Slaked lime or calcium hydroxide, it's the same thing, CaOH2, right? Now slaked lime, once we add it to our acidic sugarcane, what happens is that it does two things. One, it neutralizes the acid found in the sugarcane juice, and it causes our impurities to become insoluble, and we call that precipitation. So it precipitates the impurities, which makes them become insoluble. And remember that insoluble means not dissolved, right? So two things that we use the calcium hydroxide for. We use it to neutralize the acidic cane juice, and we use it to precipitate the impurities which cause them to become insoluble. Right now, look at the key. This is a keyword I want you to look at right here: insoluble. Now we need to remove those insoluble impurities, right? We need to remove them because of course we want the cane juice to become sugar. We need to remove that insoluble impurities. So what we're going to do next is that we're going to apply filtration. Remember that for filtration, how it works is that we have a filtration medium. It could be a filter paper in a filter funnel, right? That's a little filtration setup, and we have our filter paper right there. It only allows small particles to pass through. So small particles such as water, right? It only allows small particles to pass through. So the insoluble solid particles, which are too big to pass through the filter paper, will remain behind as our residue. And down here, the sugarcane juice that we get coming out, that's our filtrate. Right, this is just me including some separation techniques so you can visualize, right? So for the filtration step, all we're doing is that we're removing our insoluble impurities. So let me put it here: remove insoluble impurities. And just remember that how we remove these insoluble impurities is that we add it to our filtration medium, and the smaller sugarcane particles will come through. The smaller sugarcane particles will come through the filter paper, while the insoluble impurities will remain behind. So that's how we remove our insoluble impurities. Alright, let me see if I can get this. So after we filter off our insoluble impurities, the next thing that we need to do is that we need to remove our water. And after step 5, our sugarcane juice has about 85% water, right? It has about 85% water. But we need to convert it into sucrose. We need to convert it into crystals. So of course, to remove all of that 85% water, our step 6 is that we are gonna have to boil or evaporate our sugarcane syrup or our sugarcane juice, right? So step 6 is that we're boiling or evaporating our sugarcane juice. Another name that we use for the boiling or evaporation step is that we can say that we're doing vacuum distillation. It's the same thing as evaporation, right? We're heating, and note that this heating is very gentle. It's not a lot of heat applied, just a little bit, enough to cause evaporation. And note that this steam, where we get the heat from to cause evaporation, is that we get it from the bagasse. So this bagasse here that we would have used, that would have said that we're gonna heat or we're gonna burn to produce steam, it is used not for this step. Let me for here for this step. This is where the bagasse comes back, right? Burn bagasse, right? This is where it comes back. Okay, so right now, after we do our evaporation, what we're left with is about 35% water in our sugarcane juice. Matter of fact, it's a thick syrup. So I'm gonna say that right now we have a thick syrup. right? And we need to turn this thick syrup into crystals, right? So what we do is that we're gonna force crystallization to happen, where we're gonna cause the solution to become super saturated. So right now the solution is saturated, everything is dissolved in our thick syrup. We have our crystals in our thick syrup and everything, so we cannot see the thick syrup, it's saturated. Now what we need to do to produce crystals, the term that we use is seed. We're gonna seed some crystals, we're gonna add some other sugar crystals into this thick syrup here, right? This process is called seeding, where we add sugar crystals from previous processes. So we add some sugar crystals into our thick syrup, and this forces supersaturation to occur. And in supersaturation, what happens is that we have new crystals being formed. So we're using old crystals, adding it into our thick syrup to cause new crystals to form, right? So this step, it's crystallization, causing crystallization to happen. Now in this step, what happens is that we have a mixture of two things. We have sugar crystals, so we have our sugar crystals, and we have what we call molasses. Those are the two things that we have. Now this mixture of sugar crystals and molasses, the name that we call it is a massecuite, a mixture of sugar crystals and molasses, MASSECUITE, a massecuite, right? And now we need to separate the sugar crystals from the molasses, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to put our sugar crystals in a perforated basket. So let me label this as my perforated basket. And an example of a perforated basket is also your washing machine. You know, like the washing machine, when it spins around your clothes and the water, right? And then at some point when you decide to let out the water comes through the tiny holes of the washing machine, but it leaves the clothes behind. And it's the same thing that's gonna happen here, the same exact thing. So we put our massecuite into our perforated basket. The perforated basket has some holes on the sides, and it's gonna be spun at very high speeds. And once it's spun at very high speeds, all the molasses, that thick molasses syrup, is gonna come through. The thick molasses syrup is gonna come through, and you're gonna have your sugar crystals remaining behind in the basket, right? So right now we have molasses, and we still have the sugar crystals in the basket. The sugar crystals are a bit damp. So what we need to do is that the last step is drying. So this is step 8, and step 9 is drying. So we're just gonna heat it for a little bit, heat the sugar crystals for a little bit, not to get them to melt, but to get them to just so that we can remove the dampness, so that we can remove any excess water, right? And then we can use our sugar to make whatever products that we need to, right? And I use this little cool slogan to remember how our sugar making process is. It's harvesting sweet cane carefully for better cool coconuts. Right, harvesting, you know, the first thing that we do is that we're cutting our sugarcane stalks, right? We cut it, we harvest it. The next thing that we do is that we shred. We're shredding our sugarcane stalks into smaller pieces using rotary blades, right? And what do we do after shredding? After shredding, we are gonna crush. After shredding, we crush our sugar cane, right? We crush it to get out all of the sugar cane juice. So remove all the sugar cane juice, and we form two products. We form sugar cane juice, and we also form bagasse. So after crushing that, we form sugar cane juice and bagasse. The bagasse, we heat the bagasse, or we burn the bagasse so that we can produce steam for other processes in the sugar making process, right? The next thing is that we are going to clarify. This is our clarification process. So we clarify our mixture by adding calcium hydroxide or slaked lime, and in this step it does two things. It causes neutralization of the acidic cane juice, and it causes precipitation of the insoluble or of the impurities. Precipitation. Remember that precipitation is when you're forming some crystals, some tiny crystals from the solution. Yes, so it causes precipitation to occur. Now after that, we need to remove our insoluble impurities, right? And to remove our insoluble impurities, we are going to filter. So F is for filter. So we filter it off. Once we filter, we have removed our insoluble impurities, and now what we have left is our sugarcane juice with about 85% water. So the next thing that we do is that we're gonna boil our sugarcane juice that has 85% water, right? And once we boil it, remember that for boiling we can say it's evaporation or vacuum distillation. You might see any one of those words, so I suggest that you try to remember all three. After boiling, we need to after boiling it goes from 85% water to 35% water, right? And now we need to convert this thick syrup into crystals, right? So we do what we call crystallization. So C is for crystallization. And in crystallization we do seeding. So we're adding all crystal seeds into our mixture, right? And it causes supersaturation to occur, where we're forcing new crystals to form. So right now we have two things. We have our molasses and our sugar crystals. So sugar crystals plus molasses, and the mixture of this is what we call a macecute, right? And we need to separate the sugar from the molasses. So the last thing that we do to separate the sugar from the molasses is that we do centrifugation, where we put our centrifugation, where we just a second, centrifugation, yes. So we put it in our perforated basket. It's spun at very high speeds, and it forces the molasses to come through the small holes, and the sugar crystals remain behind. Now these sugar crystals are damp, and so the last thing that we do is that we're going to dry them, right? So the little jingle that we use is harvest sweet cane carefully for better cool coconuts. Harvesting, shredding, crushing, clarifying, filtering, boiling, crystallization, and centrifugation. All right. Okay, so let's answer some questions. Why is lime calcium hydroxide added during the clarification step? So calcium hydroxide or slaked lime, we add it for two reasons. We add it to neutralize our acid and to precipitate our impurities. So B is the correct answer. The next question, what is the name of the cane fiber left over after crushing, and what is its primary use in the factory? The cane fiber left over is our bagasse, and we use it for to burn it as fuel, yes, or for steam. What happens during centrifugation? Now during centrifugation we simply spin our macecute in a perforated basket. So let's see, A, crystals are separated from molasses in a perforated basket. Yes, I don't even have to read the rest. All right. Next one, what is the name? So we did this one already. Last one, in the evaporation stage, why is vacuum distillation used to boil the liquid? So to increase the water content to 85%, no. To allow boiling at lower temperatures, I believe this would be the correct answer. Yes, remember that this step is very controlled. We cannot use a lot of heat, so we allow boiling at lower temperatures. Right, I hope you learned something from this video. If you have any questions, you can always send a message. I'm gonna just zoom out a bit so that you can take a screenshot of the different parts. So that's one, this is two, it's like a little notation, and this is 3 right here. Yes. I hope you learned. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.